The vehicle you are looking at in this image is none other than the legendary Toyota Land Cruiser FJ45 pickup truck, one of the most iconic and historically significant off-road vehicles ever manufactured by the Japanese automotive giant Toyota Motor Corporation. This rust-covered, weathered truck sitting in what appears to be a junkyard or scrapyard tells a story that goes far beyond its decayed exterior. The Toyota Land Cruiser FJ45 pickup was produced between the years 1960 and 1984, making it a product of an era when vehicles were built not for luxury or style, but purely for toughness, reliability, and the ability to conquer any terrain on the face of the earth. Toyota Motor Corporation, founded in 1937 by Kiichiro Toyota, originally derived the Land Cruiser concept from the need to build a capable military and utility vehicle that could serve in the harshest environments imaginable. The Land Cruiser lineage began in the early 1950s with the BJ series, inspired by the American Willys Jeep that Toyota engineers had studied during the post-World War II period. By the time the FJ series came into production, Toyota had already established a strong reputation for building vehicles that could go where no other vehicle dared to travel. The FJ45 pickup variant was specifically designed as a working truck, a vehicle meant for farmers, miners, military personnel, explorers, and anyone who needed a machine that would never let them down no matter how brutal the conditions. The body of the FJ45 was constructed with heavy-gauge steel, which explains why even today, decades after its production ended, you can still find these trucks in junkyards, on farms, and in restoration shops around the world. The truck featured a classic body-on-frame construction, which was the standard architecture for heavy-duty vehicles of that era and gave the FJ45 tremendous structural strength and durability. Under the hood, the FJ45 was powered by Toyota's famous F-Series inline-six engine, specifically the 3F or the earlier 2F engine, which had a displacement of 4.2 liters. This engine was known for its incredibly low-end torque, which made it perfect for crawling over rocks, climbing steep hillsides, and pulling heavy loads without breaking a sweat. The engine produced around 135 to 155 horsepower depending on the variant and year of manufacture, which may not sound like much by today's standards, but paired with its robust four-wheel drive system and low-range gearbox, it was more than enough to tackle any obstacle nature could throw at it. The transmission was a 4-speed manual gearbox with a separate transfer case that allowed the driver to switch between two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive as needed, along with a dedicated low-range setting for extreme off-road situations. The suspension system was solid axle front and rear, giving the truck excellent articulation over uneven terrain while maintaining simplicity and ease of repair in remote locations where spare parts and mechanics were simply not available. The wheelbase of the FJ45 pickup measured approximately 2,650 mm, and its overall length was around 4,360 mm, making it a compact yet capable truck that could navigate tight jungle tracks and narrow mountain paths with relative ease. The truck weighed around 1,700 to 1,900 kilograms depending on configuration, and it had a payload capacity of approximately 500 to 700 kilograms, making it genuinely useful as a work vehicle. When the FJ45 was first launched in the early 1960s, its price in the Japanese domestic market was approximately equivalent to 600,000 to 800,000 Japanese yen, which at the exchange rates of that time translated to roughly 1,500 to 2,000 US dollars. In international markets, particularly in Australia, the Middle East, South America, and Africa, the pricing varied based on import duties and local taxes, but it generally remained within the range of 2,000 to 4,000 US dollars depending on the year and market. Today, a well-preserved or fully restored FJ45 pickup truck can fetch anywhere between 30,000 US dollars to well over 100,000 US dollars at auctions and private sales, a testament to just how valued and sought after these machines have become among collectors and enthusiasts worldwide. The vehicle in this image, however, tells a different story, a story of abandonment, neglect, and the relentless march of time. The heavy rust covering every panel, the faded Toyota badge still proudly visible on the side of the door, the missing glass, the deteriorated tires, and the general state of decay suggest that this particular truck has been sitting in this scrapyard for possibly decades. Yet even in this broken-down state, the truck retains an undeniable presence and character that modern vehicles simply cannot replicate. The straight lines of the cab, the simple rectangular door panels, the flat hood, and the open pickup bed all speak to a philosophy of design that prioritized function over form. What is particularly striking about this image is the backdrop, rows of scrapped and crushed vehicles visible in the background, which creates a powerful visual narrative about the life cycle of automobiles and the way that once great machines eventually find their way to the graveyard. But for those who know the Land Cruiser, this is not the end of the story. Every year, enthusiasts and restoration specialists around the world rescue vehicles exactly like this one from scrapyards, importing them from countries like Australia, Japan, and the Middle East, and spending months or even years painstakingly restoring them to their original glory or building them into custom off-road machines. The Toyota Land Cruiser FJ45 has a massive global fanbase, with dedicated clubs, forums, and events held specifically in honor of this model. Countries like Australia in particular have an extraordinarily deep connection with the FJ45, as these trucks were the workhorses of the Australian outback for decades, used by station owners, emergency services, and adventurers who needed a vehicle that could cross the vast and unforgiving Australian interior without mechanical failure. The FJ45's legacy also paved the way for the modern Land Cruiser lineup, which continues to this day with models like the Land Cruiser 300 series, though the modern trucks have evolved enormously in terms of technology, comfort, and refinement. Yet none of the modern versions carry quite the same raw, mechanical soul as the FJ45 did in its heyday. The FJ45 represents an era of automotive engineering where simplicity was strength, where a driver could diagnose and fix most problems on the side of the road with basic tools and a working knowledge of mechanics, and where a vehicle's true worth was measured not by its horsepower figures or infotainment system, but by its ability to bring its driver home safely from the most remote and dangerous places on Earth. This rusted truck sitting quietly in the junkyard was once someone's trusted companion, perhaps crossing desert dunes, climbing muddy jungle tracks, or carrying supplies to remote villages where no other vehicle could reach. It deserves to be remembered not as a piece of scrap metal, but as a legend of the automotive world, a machine that helped build nations and open up frontiers that had never before been accessible by road. The Toyota Land Cruiser FJ45 pickup is not just a vehicle, it is a symbol of human ingenuity, resilience, and the eternal desire to explore beyond the horizon. If you loved this story and want to learn more amazing facts and histories about legendary vehicles like this one, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel CarPoint and History. Your support means everything to us and helps us bring you more incredible content about the world's most iconic machines, so hit that subscribe button right now and join our growing family of car lovers and history enthusiasts.